Hey everyone, this is it, one of my favorite classes in the game, the Protection Warrior. Oh, I just love it. Big shields and weapons and just armor everywhere. You can't touch me because I'm blocking you for days. Oh, Protection Warrior. Got a lot of things I want to talk about in this because, like I said, it's one of my favorite classes. Fun to play, fun to be a tank. And if you're watching this, it's because you want to be an awesome tank too. I'm not saying I'm an awesome tank, I just think tanking's awesome. Yeah, that works. Alright, so let's move along. So first things, of course, we're going to check out the talents. Level 15, it's all about your charge, how you want to do things. I like double time just because I like being able to charge twice. It's really up to you what you want, but being able to charge twice can kind of help you bounce around between casters, especially in those 5-man dungeons. We might have multiple casters. You can, charge and smack them, and then charge the other one, smack him too. Level 30 is a survival thing. And Rage Regeneration is one of my favorites. Just every minute you can get 10% plus 20% over 5 seconds. It's a pretty quick, hot for being a tank. I used to love Second Wind, but when they changed it to Leech, that healing is directly dependent upon you doing damage. Pardon me, but I am a tank. It's not my job. So it kind of lost its edge from me. Impending Victory is pretty good. Again, I like that one for 5-mans because you can just every 30 seconds get 15% of your health back. Based on how your healer's doing, you might just integrate it into your rotation. Well, not really rotation, you're a tank, you don't have a rotation. So you just control it. Okay, every time I use shield block, I'm going to use Impending Victory. It's how you want to play. But in Rage Regeneration, I tend to use about 75% health. If I get below that, I'll hit it and just help the healers out. At level 45, Heavy Repercussions, love it. 30% additional damage from shield block or shield charge. Shield charge being if you use Gladiator's Resolve at 100. You should have shield block up almost all day, every day. It should always be up. And I know I just said my job's not to do damage, but shield slam, yeah, that's one of your #1 threat builders, except the fact that you're a big scary tank. Sudden death, I don't care about execute. I'm sorry, I only have it on my bar just to help me visualize when the boss is at 20% health, because I tend to go full tank mode and not pay attention. Unyielding strikes, I don't mind it, it's not bad, but the downside is you can't build it up, and once it hits 6, once your Devastate hits its 6th application, it's going to fall off. So unless you're just spamming Heroic Strike, yeah, I don't find it cool as a tank. With Gladiator's Resolve, I've seen some good results, but overall, I think Heavy Repercussions is probably your best bet. Level 60, these are some awesome abilities. I think it's great that they're here. You get them earlier on in the talents. Stormbolt, excellent if you're fighting just a single boss with no adds that can't be stunned. Most bosses can't be anyway, but it's awesome. It's just a big hit to the face. Say if you get knocked back, you can chuck that Stormbolt and make sure you got him right back in your face. Shockwave, again, great for 5-mans. You just slap a big stun out in the group and they're not touching you. So that's, a good bit of time. It's 4 seconds where you're not taking hits to the face from multiple people. I'll take that. I like Dragon's Roar. It's a nice big explosive AoE damage. Always critical strikes. It's a good hit. I like it for raiding because bosses, bosses can't be stunned, so Shockwave kind of loses its effect. And for bosses like Tectus, Brackenspore, I talk a lot about Highmaul. They have multiple adds that you need to pick, hit as well, so you can get a nice big burst on them. Level 75, I haven't played around too much with Mass Spell Reflection, and I'm going to make a request. If someone can give me a little more details on how they use it, I just haven't found a place for it in my world. I really haven't, and I feel like I should. I just haven't found a place for it. Safeguard I find completely useless because you have Intervene and it replaces Intervene. The only difference between the two is Safeguard reduces the damage of the person you run to by 20%, and it takes the next hit, where Intervene just takes the next hit. Don't care. I mean, if you're worried about bouncing around for people taking damage, you're not tanking a boss, you're tanking the raid. Hello you. Goodbye. Sorry. Vigilance. Now, I love this ability so much that I actually made a macro just for it, and I will show that to you in a second. But being able to take someone and give them 30% and they could get 30% less damage, and you can taunt whenever you want to, is amazing. What I do is I'll show you my macro. I'll bring it up here real quick. Boop boop. Alright, so I've got Vigilance, I got Target Focus, cast Vigilance, clear target. I always put my off tank, whoever I'm tanking with, is my focus. And what that does is, whenever they're starting to take hits to the face and I might need to pull them off, I can hit that button. Vigilance is automatically cast on them. That's 30% less damage they're taking, plus whatever defensive abilities they're using, plus the heals coming in. And now I can just start spamming taunt, picking them up. And I know I'm going to keep them. I use it mostly for the defensive abilities, not so much the taunt. But it definitely comes in handy to save your other tank's butt if they're a little undergeared than you. In a 5-man environment, I would say put it on your healer. If you're going to do this same macro, put it on your healer. So if you're tanking a bunch of ads and your healer's got 1 or 2 on them, you can hit that button and then just taunt those few ads right off of them and pick them up. Your healer will thank you and you'll look awesome. To close that. Level 90, for most of you, this might be where you stop because you haven't gotten to 100 yet, and that's perfectly fine. Level 90 avatar, because they changed it in 6.1. I'm trying it out. I kind of like it. The ability to just turn into this big hulking beast, even though I already am because I'm a tank, turning into this big hulking beast that just does, the 20% extra damage, and you can't root and stare me. You can't hold me down. I loved that ability, but the 3-minute cooldown did not sit well with me. Cut it in half. Not too bad. I used to use Bloodbath. It's a good way to just put a nice little dot on everything you hit. I would usually use Bloodbath with Dragon's Roar. That way it would be a nice big hit, big sexy dot going out on them. And it came in handy. Helped with threat a little bit, but it's a dot. Dots don't really help too much, but it never hurts to have extra damage going out. Bladestorm. Okay, Bladestorm, I love you. Bladestorm, you've been one of my favorite spells since I've been playing a warrior. Grab your weapon, spin in a circle, and just slash through everything. But Bladestorm, I'm a tank. I don't want to just spin in circles. I don't just want to spin in circles. Yes, I can taunt. Yes, I can use defensive abilities, but that's shield wall, shield barrier, and shield block. I want to do more. I want to be rolling into my tanking. Maybe I need to hit another ad, maybe I need to move. You're not moving too fast with Bladestorm, and you're not using Heroic Leap. So, that's why I went with Avatar, it's just a good buff. So, for my level 100 people, anger management, it seems like it means well, but I just have, again, it's another one of those ones I just have not found a home for you. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to not use Ravager. Love it. Throw your axe down, it spins around, it's basically just a whirlwind Bladestorm that you throw, and it does its own thing. I love it, because you can just drop it in a pile of people, and you're going to have aggro on them, you're going to have a good time, because you're going to watch your blade just spin around in circles. Also, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 30% increased parry for 11 seconds. Do you know what happens when you parry? Your revenge comes off cooldown. And revenge gives you 20 rage, and every time you parry it comes off cooldown. So you know what you're doing while Ravager is out? You're taking less damage and you're spamming revenge. Building rage and then using your shield block because you're building so much rage, and now you're taking less damage and you're still using revenge, and now you can use shield barrier while shield block is going and you're taking like no damage, and you're just looking like a wonderful tank because you're just standing there smiling as the boss is tickling you. Oh, love it. Gladiator's Resolve. Okay, this was designed so that Prot Warriors could also DPS. Thanks, Blizz. I loved it when it first came out. Then I played it and was like, I got nothing. I've seen some gladiators that kick butt, take names, and look good doing it. And more power to you. It ain't for me. Okay, I'm a tank. If I'm playing Prot Warrior, I'm gonna stand toe-to-toe with the boss and tell him come at me. That's what I do. I'm not worried about doing DPS. The damage reduction, increased by 5% in defensive stance, it's okay, but you also get, later on, you get improved defensive stance, which increases the damage reduction by another 10%. So, and then you got bonus armor on top of that, and you got your block and parry. I just went with the extra damage and extra parry. And then, like I was saying before, with all the revenges and all the things you're going to be doing there, I think that balances out better than just a 5% reduction. That's just me. This is just kind of, like I said, me talking about things that I've noticed playing a Prot Warrior and having fun doing it, things that help me get through it, that hopefully help you. I'll go into the glyphs. Excuse me, throat's a little dry. I love Glyph of Cleave. Heroic Strike now hits 2 targets. It's great for fights like Brackenspore, where you got the big ad. You can just start cleaving them down. Love it. I love cleaves for these warriors, especially for Thunderclap, because Thunderclap is free. Oh, beautiful. It's free for Prot Warriors. Thank you, Bliss. Alright, Glyph of Shield Wall. I'm a little bit leery about this one, and I'll tell you why. I love the increased, a 20% increase damage reduction, so now I'm taking 60% less damage, but I can only use it every 4 minutes. The average raid boss fight goes between 4 and 8 minutes, so I might only get to use it once. So it's really not a active form of mitigation. You're just going to be using it when, oh, I'm about to get punched in the face really effing hard. So that's when you're going to use it. And then, of course, Glyph of Unending Rage. 20 extra rage. Never hurts to have more rage, You can, that way it also helps you when you're doing your Ravager Revenge combo thing. You can pool that rage more and just spend it however you want, whether it be doing damage or mitigating damage. And of course, I like being on fire and blazing trail. That's just me. Bull Rush. Bull Rush would probably be better for your 5-mans and early on from like level 90 to 100, because you're going to be getting that additional rage to spend on your shield block or on your shield barrier. You're not going to be taking too many chances, pulling too much. You shouldn't be taking too many chances until you get really comfortable with your class. Then you can do whatever the heck you want and let your healer deal with it. Excuse me, did I say that? But you get that extra 15 rage so that you can just go in and be ready to be defensive, because like I said, Thunderclap is free. You're not spending rage on that. Shield Slam and Revenge, they're free. You're gaining rage from those. So you can charge your Revenge, Thunderclap, Shield, and now you've got a pool of rage to play with. Gag Order's not too bad. It gives you a nice little interrupt from a distance, but you got charge. Close the distance and get in their face. Okay? And just a few things I want to go over really quickly. I'm not going to, spend too much time on this. Just some abilities that I've noticed have changed since the last expansion. If you haven't had a chance to really dig into the Prot Warrior, or if this is you get a bonus 90, or you haven't been tanking until now, and you're like, I've been DPSing, I want to be a tank. That's perfectly fine. More power to you. Welcome to the club. Demoralizing Shout. 20% reduced damage by everyone it hits, but it's only towards you. It's not going to affect anyone else. So these people are hitting you, which you're the tank. They should be hitting you. It's your job to get punched in the face. 20% less damage towards you. Love it. Already talked about all of these. Devastate ain't changed. Oh, except it has a 30% chance to reduce the cooldown, reset the cooldown on Shield Slam, and cause it to generate 5 more rage. Devastate is your I have nothing else to do button. That's pretty much it. It's your I have nothing else to do. So I hit that. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Going back through. Last Stand, of course, your 30% increased health for 15 seconds. Love it. I'm all for that. Mocking Banner. Oh, God, this thing has saved my butt so many times in raids. There's Hi, Ravager. See you again. Alright, Shield Barrier. Shield Barrier is your go-to for not physical damage. Alright? Every boss does auto attacks. This is what Shield Block is for. I'll talk about that when I get there, which is the next spell. Spoiler alert. Shield Barrier is your go-to for magic damage. If there's a big magic burst coming up, things like that. The damage absorption of it seems a little bit lower. It can be increased by the amount of by up to 40 additional rage, but it's not gonna. It's gonna help. Right? It's not there to just I'm not taking damage. It's to help mitigate that damage. You should constantly be building that rage and be prepared for that big hit to the face. Absorb it as much as you can. Your healers say thank you. You say I'm awesome, and you continue fighting. Comes in a little bit more handy in the 5-man world because you have a lot of things. You can have a lot of things coming your way that you don't see, so you just keep it up, and it'll help mitigate damage. Ah, beautiful. Shield Block, delicious. Shield Block is your go-to. Go-to. Everything you do is Shield Block. Everything you do, every bit of rage you do should go towards Shield Block because everything auto attacks. Everything. I don't care what it is. If it's just a little critter, or if it's a raid boss, every single thing auto attacks, and sometimes those auto attacks hurt. So by using Shield Block, you're taking reduced damage from them. So it's helping you control the damage coming in. That's what you want to do. Plus, if you went with heavy repercussions, Shield Slam hits like a truck every time it's up, and it should be up because it has 2 charges. It's 2 charges, 6 second, 12-second recharge. So you should be able to balance it out to where shield block is almost always up. Now sometimes you let it fall off just because you're pulling rage or something like that. Perfectly understandable. Maybe you're pulling rage for the big, for using shield barrier for the big spell. Cool, you've learned that about that fight, and now that's what you're doing. By all means do it. But until you start, you have those fights memorized, okay, at this time, this boss is going to do this spell, and I need to be this prepared. Keeping shield block up all the time is definitely going to be your go-to. Hello, shield wall. See, like I was saying, 60% with 4-minute cooldown. What's this? Who taunts anymore? I'm just kidding. You're a tank. That's what you do. Thunderclap. Free! Oh, thank you. It's free now. Victory Rush. There's the Vigilance again. I love that. 30%. Boom. Okay, this is one of my favorite passive abilities I've seen since Warlords dropped. Blood Craze. Your multi-strikes have a chance... your multi-strikes trigger 3% of your health over 3 seconds. 3% of your health over 3 seconds. If you have high enough multi-strike, you can have an extremely high uptime of this and are getting 3% of your health back constantly. Just a constant hot on you at all times. Plus, every minute you can use Enrage Regeneration, getting 10% plus 20% over 5 seconds. You see how it kind of stacks up? You're kind of keeping yourself up, plus you're not taking as much damage. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? Deep Wounds, Bleed effect. There's your double time again. Heavy Repercussions, Improved Block. You get this as you're leveling throughout Draenor. Increase block chance by 10%. Love it. There's your 10% increase from defensive stance. Oh, guess what? Every time you heroic leap, your cooldown of taunt is reset. Yeah. You see your healer getting punched in the face? You just taunted something? Jump right in there and grab them. If Thunderclap doesn't pick them up, you should be able to taunt them. That's another one that comes in as you're leveling. Are you ready to machine gun? Yes. Heroic Throw will no longer have a cooldown. You can chuck that thing all day. Literally like a machine gun. It's amazing. Resolve's pretty cool. Increases your healing and absorption done to yourself based on damage taken before avoidance. It's basically the raw damage that you take in the last 10 seconds. Really amazing tanks. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm getting there. Trust me, I'm getting there. I'm working on it. It's a little harder than I thought it would be. They can take and track their resolve and know exactly when to use, shield barrier. That will increase shield barrier, or when to use Enraged Regeneration, or Impending Victory, whichever one you went with. They can track that. That is amazing. That's way above my skill level too. I'm working on it. When I figure out a way to do it, maybe I can share that knowledge with you. And of course, Shield Mastery. Boom, 5% more mastery, which goes straight to your block and critical block. And that's the basic rundown of everything the Warrior has to offer for you. The Prot Warrior. We don't care about the other Warriors. We're Prot Warriors. That's what we do. So I'm going to go ahead now that I've gone through the talents, some of my favorite spells, some of my glyphs. I'm going to go now and go through into some actual gameplay and kind of talk about what I'm doing and how things are going with the Prot Warrior, and just kind of what you can expect as a level 90, deciding, hey, I want to start tanking, and then building into the raiding. I'll go over that separately. Right now I want to go into what to expect early on in Warlords of Draenor. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoy. See you there.